So this guy is a liar. His name is Jesse. He's 26 years old at the start of this story, living in New Zealand. And he has a serious problem with lying. He's constantly making things up. He tells people he's a high-level manager at an oil company. He says he owns a $1.3 million house and a $900,000 BMW. He even claims he's a professional softball player for the New Zealand Black Sox. None of it is true. In reality, he's struggling to hold down a job and is likely living on government assistance. And in 2018, he completely destroys his life. Because one day, he gets on Tinder, just swiping around, looking for someone to hook up with. And that's when he finds Grace. Grace is 21 years old. She's kind, social, and has spent the last year backpacking around the world, visiting different countries and documenting everything. Her latest stop is New Zealand. She's staying in a hostel, meeting new people, and like a lot of travelers, she downloads Tinder. She starts swiping, and then, boom, she matches with Jesse. They start chatting, and they seem to hit it off, so they decide to meet up for drinks. The next day, they meet in person. There's even security footage of them together. They grab drinks, get some food, and the date is going well. So well, in fact, that they decide to keep it going. They go bar hopping, hit multiple spots, and spend hours together. And of course, because Jesse is Jesse, he's lying the entire time. He tells her he's a successful businessman. He claims he's related to a famous rugby player. He says he's planning a trip to England, which is where Grace is from. And Grace has no idea. To her, he seems confident, successful, maybe even impressive. At one point, when Jesse goes to the bathroom, Grace texts her friend, saying she's on a date with a big oil executive who might visit her in England next year. That's how convincing he is. So the night continues, and after several hours of drinking and bar hopping, they decide to go back to Jesse's apartment. And this is where everything changes. Once they're inside, seemingly out of nowhere, Jesse snaps. He suddenly attacks Grace and begins strangling her. He doesn't stop. And eventually, she dies. We don't know exactly why he did it. There were no witnesses, and Jesse himself is a compulsive liar, so nothing he says can really be trusted. But what we do know is what he does next. After killing Grace, he just stays in the apartment. Her body is there, and he doesn't seem fazed at all. At one point, he even goes on adult websites. Then he opens Tinder again and starts swiping. He matches with another woman and sets up a date, while Grace's body is still in his apartment. He also starts searching online for ways to clean up and dispose of a body. The next morning, he goes shopping. He buys a suitcase. He buys cleaning supplies. And he rents a rug doctor to clean the carpet. Meanwhile, Grace's phone, still inside the apartment, is blowing up because it's her birthday, her 22nd birthday. Messages from friends and family keep coming in, but none of them are answered. All the calls go straight to voicemail. After shopping, Jesse goes back home. He drops off the supplies and stuffs Grace's body into the suitcase. Then he just leaves it there and goes out on another Tinder date that he had already planned. And on this date, he's lying again. He tells her he's a sales manager at Woolworths in Australia. He makes up a story about his best friend flying in from Sydney to become a Crown prosecutor. But then things get really strange. His date mentions she once attended a murder trial and how sad it was. And Jesse responds by saying he knew a guy who accidentally killed his girlfriend during rough intercourse involving strangulation. He says the guy went to prison for manslaughter, which is an insane thing to say on a first date. But he keeps going. He starts explaining how police dogs can only detect bodies buried less than 4 feet underground, implying that bodies buried deeper might never be found. At this point, they're about 90 minutes into the date, and she's completely uncomfortable. So she makes an excuse and leaves. Jesse offers her a ride home. She says no. So he goes back to his apartment, where the body is still there, still crammed inside the suitcase. He spends hours cleaning the crime scene, mostly focusing on the carpet. Then he goes downstairs, finds a luggage cart like the kind at hotels, brings it upstairs, loads the suitcase onto it, wheels it through the building and outside. He puts it into a rental car. Then he drives to a remote area and buries the body. Meanwhile, Grace's parents start to worry. She hasn't posted anything, she's not replying to messages, which is completely out of character. So they contact police in New Zealand. Officers go to her hostel, but she's not there. All of her belongings are still inside. So police begin investigating. Almost immediately, they check her social media. And that's when they find it. A comment from a man named Jesse, the last person she interacted with before she disappeared. Police reach out to him. He agrees to come in for questioning and claims they parted ways early that night. But that story falls apart fast, because security footage shows both of them entering his building at 9:41 p.m. So police search his apartment and his rental car. And even though he tried to clean everything, they find Grace's DNA and other forensic evidence. Jesse is arrested. He later goes to trial and is found guilty of murder, and he's sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 17 years.